Hello everyone, the Flying Scotsman here, and welcome to the final episode of Academic August 2019. Now, gaming. Not edutainment games, but just regular, honest-to-goodness computer games. Shmups, beat-em-ups, FPSs, street brawlers, racers, platformers, anything you want. Just games. Not educational, right? It'll distract you from your studies, say the chattering parents of the chattering classes of chatty. I don't want to talk about them. Anyway. But yeah, games. Your school would not thank you very much if you were caught playing games on their computers. However, what if I told you that at one point in time some schools were perfectly fine with you creating your own games on their machines? Yes, that's right. While playing some games may not be that educational, although that could be refuted, as to what good playing video games can or otherwise do you. Creating games is, well, it can be actually very educational. But, I hear you cry, what school kid is going to be able to understand and use any number of the programming language used for coding games? Apart from teenagers in the 80s, that is. Well, firstly, I would answer quite a lot. But secondly, what if I told you that you could create games without needing to write so much as even a line of code? Well, such a solution exists. So, Klik and Play. This was released in Europe by Europress and I believe in the United States by Maxis. Maxis having created SimCity. And what this was a was a drag and drop game creation application program. And like I said, it allows you to create games. Now, this might seem like quite a mindless activity, even creating games, but actually it really can be quite educational, because even though you're not necessarily learning how to program, creating a game using Klik and Play does expose you to appreciation, I guess, of how a program works. And the best way for me to show you this is to actually start it up. Yeah. So when you start Klik and Play up, please forgive the sound. This is emulated using PCM. You get that nice wee animation. I'll just kind of go back to it because I accidentally hit a mouse button then. Yeah, the MIDI is not normally that skippy. So you've got all kinds of game characters and vehicles and what have you exploding out of a mouse. there you go. And I'm pretty sure I've seen them, like, roll the mouse like it's a boat. Like, a few of them have had oars and they've dipped them in and it's turned blue, so I don't know why that part's not animated. But what that animation tells you is that Klik and Play, well, you can use Klik and Play to create games using nothing but your mouse, essentially. I mean, you can use the keyboard as well for various things, but here we go. So when you start Klik and Play, you have 4 options. You can either play a game, so Klik and Play comes with a few sample games that you can try out, and it'll show you, you know, the sort of things that you can do with Klik and Play. So there's many games, some that you use the mouse, some that you use the keyboard or a controller. So one of my favourite games to play has always been this one here, Romeo. There we go. Inappropriate noise aside there, this shows a wee platformer that's been made in Klik and Play, and actually the game files that Klik and Play uses, the .gam files, are actually included, so you could actually go in and modify the game. So I could go to Game Pack, and there's Romeo, and there you see I've got the storyboard editor, and as you can see, I can actually just edit. I could just edit the game. But that's not what we're going to do now. The third option down is to create a game, creating a game from scratch. I mean, there is also a tutorial that will actually run you through the basic steps of creating a game. So, if we go to that, then what we have is the storyboards. So here you have frames. So these frames basically equate to the various screens that you'll see in the game. Now, when I was first starting with Klik and Play, I was about 10 years old. So, you know, I just kind of went in there and thought, oh, this must be level 1. So that's what I did. I just basically made like I was making level 1. But actually, one of the best ways of doing this, I've thought, is by making a title screen. And unfortunately, this is 640 by 480, and so is the default playing area. So we kind of have to skirt around and scroll. Unfortunately, scrolling doesn't work properly in here, as you can see. So there you go. You've got to click on the scroll bar. That's the only way you're going to be able to actually scroll. So what we'll do is we'll make a breakout style game. That's kind of what the tutorial does show, but we're not going to use his we're not going to use the tutorial's idea of going, like, you know, Toyland. No, let's make a let's make an actual you know, an actual kind of brick game version, sort of. So now we've got the backdrop. we could say that the backdrop is an obstacle. We could have it as a ladder or a platform. Quite a good thing to have. If you made it a ladder, your character could move around easily, like in all kinds of directions. Kind of useful if you're wanting to make an underwater style level, although literally the character can move around with absolutely no resistance at all whatsoever. So yeah, that is something to think about. So what we're going to do is we're going to use bricks. So I'm not going to make a full, like, Arkanoid game here. I'm just literally going to kind of show you, a bit of how Click and Play works. And also, if I was going to make this game anything like the real Arkanoid, I would have to find a way to make some of the blocks take more than the one hit before they disappeared off screen. Okay, so we've got 2 rows of we have 2 rows of blocks that we want to break. Now, what we need is some kind of platform that we can launch the our play piece off. When I say play piece, I don't mean like a sandwich or anything. I mean like the ball, something that we're going to hit the blocks with to try and destroy them. Now, when I used to make games in the past with this, actually, I did used to make it quite surreal. So, for example, I made a platform game called Catty, and part of that game's shtick was that in every level, Catty would have a projectile, but it wouldn't be the sort of projectile that one might expect, like a bullet or a something like that. It would be things like false teeth, or I think in one level you shot quite grandiose looking double beds at the enemies. What else? There was Jings, I can't remember, but the false teeth I definitely remember. I always like the idea of Catty shooting false teeth at enemies. So that's what he did. And once you killed an enemy, the enemy would emit a burp and then die. Quite a big Barney Gumble-esque kind of a burp. Do you know what? Let's have a hang glider. Why not? So the hang glider would be select movement. So you can set how you want the item to move. So that could either be mouse controlled, 8 directions, race car, platform, or controlled by the computer as a bouncing ball, path movement, or static. So we want to control the player with the keyboard. Now, so I'm going to select 8 directions, but actually we don't want 8 directions. we only want 2. So I'm going to get rid of some of these directions. Right. So now I can try the movement. Okay, that works. I mean, he doesn't turn around when he moves in the opposite direction. I could change that if I wanted to. So, so what I could do is go and edit the frame. There we go. Whoopsie. Probably should have a look. So that's 129 by 47 pixels. 129 by 47. There we go. I can paste that in and then flip horizontally. So now, hopefully, when he's facing the other direction, he will flip. There we go. I mean, he I don't know why he's lower when he's facing left, but never mind. It sort of works. Now, if I was actually going to be doing this game for real, I would be quite concerned about that. So, now we need the ball to bounce. So, now I could use a ball, but why don't we use a swordfish instead? Actually, no, the swordfish you can't really see. So, mine. The mine could be quite useful actually, but we're gonna have to change the mine, I think, somewhat. So, edit animations. So, really, what we want is to make it bright red. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot of dithering, so we're gonna have to change the colors ever so slightly. This is going to look absolutely terrible. Oops. Could change transparent color. Do you know what? Let's go with something else. Probably done myself quite a disservice by using this background. You know what? An orange. That's actually perfect. So we want that to have a bouncing ball kind of physics. There we go. That's what it has. So we have the basic. Level field, playing field. Now, it's not quite done. If I was to play level as finished, then yeah, that is what would happen. No, what we need to do is we we need to tell the game that certain things should happen. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing this. Now, we can use the event editor to do this manually, or we could use a step through editor. And let me show you how that works. So, that shouldn't happen. That's a bug. I'm gonna have to reset the initial direction of the bouncing orange. But when the orange collides with one of the blocks, we need it to actually destroy the silver block. And why don't we have it play a sound? You know, something funny, so we know that the block has been destroyed. So I'm thinking of like some kind of a... That's Pac-Man. I'm thinking kind of some sort of a splurge sound or a splot. Sonar, Starnet. Alright, these are just effects. General. Impact. Chop, clang, clangers, clash, click, crunch, crash big. Glass, hit, impact. People, Thailand, natural, machines, impact, general, elements, effects. Let's try general. Nice. Cash register. Again, I must apologise for the glitchy sound. Game show. Congratulations! You've won the 1986 Chrysler Cordova. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Ominous, pencil, piano, pop, razor, rock and roll. There's no splat. Okay, so I'll have to find another sound. So now it's just popping. That's great. That's fantastic. Do you know what? Let's use an old trick. There we go. So we've got a sound, and we want to add some points, I think. So change the score. So change the score. So we add 1, because I'm so blooming generous. Okay, so now the orange is colliding with a gold block. So same one, same thing. We want to add 1 to the score. Whoops. And then we want to play a sound. Now, the orange has left the play area at the top. Now the game has already suggested bounce the orange, so yep, that's what we want to do. Orange leaves the play area on the right. Again, bounce it. Orange leaves the play area at the bottom. Now what we want to do is subtract a life, and maybe we'll play a wee sound. Just to show that someone's died. So that the player has lost, in effect. So we'll have the Pac-Man sound. And then restart and then we want to restart the current frame. Leave the play area on the left. Right, collision between the actual player and the orange. Right, well what we want to do is bounce the orange. That's the whole idea behind this game. We need to bounce the orange. Right, now I've just tried to leave the play area on the left. Now, the action that the game is suggesting is to stop me. That's what I want, so I will do that, and I will trigger me trying to leave the play area on the right. Same thing. Actually, I've just realised something. I don't want to restart the current frame. What I really need... Oh, the last silver block has been destroyed. There we go. Yeah, I'm aware this is, as breakout games go, this is the world's crappiest one, but I really don't care. Alright, so how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so there's 14 of those. So let's go and have a look at the event editor. So now here I could, now I've pressed escape, I could make something happen if a timer reaches a certain level. So after 5 seconds, I could have the game go get him, or something like that, or I could have a time limit. So if you've not collected all the blocks after say 30 seconds, I could have the player lose a life or restart the game or something like that. But at the moment there are no actions selected, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to, and then we're actually going to go to the event editor. Now here we've seen all the events that take place. So if the player leaves the area in any direction, stop them. We've got actions for if the orange leaves the play area at the top, left, right and bottom. So again, we've just got bounce it. So if the orange leaves the play area at the bottom, we don't want it to bounce. No, what we actually want is for it to be destroyed. So that's what we'll do. So we'll destroy that. And what happens as well, what we need as well is to stop the what we need is to stop the level from restarting. So we want to do that. But then I think what we need to do then is to create a new ball. Possession. Relative to the object. So what I want to do is put a new orange there. Now I'm not sure, because I've decided to destroy the object. Right, there we go. Direction of the object. Right, let's try this. Let's actually try this. Play level is finished. Okay, so it's not actually created a new ball. Right. So we need to be able to have it create a new ball, a new orange. Right. Possession. Collisions, possession. So is orange visible? Nope. Have all oranges been destroyed? Yes. In that case, have the hang glider shoot an object, a new orange, use the direction of hang glider. There we go. So again, this is not ideal, but hopefully it should. Whoops, that's not what we wanted. See, now that is a bug. So I'm going to have to sort that. Edit that. Shoot in the selected direction. Up the way. So, yeah. How about that? Let's try the step-through editor. No, that's not gonna work either. Cause now that's just gonna shoot oranges. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. So, last orange destroyed. I wonder if I can actually right, let's try it this way. What happens if okay, let's try a different thing. I've triggered the event. What happens if I press fire 1 or fire 2? Well, let's see. Right. Ah, there we go. Create a new object. There we go. I want to create a new orange, but I wonder. Player 1. Play control, number of lives, set score. Nope. Swap position with another object. Blah 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 blah. Nope. 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 Okay, so if while pressing a key, so while pressing shift, test for no orange objects in a zone. So hopefully now what I've done here is I have basically said if there's no oranges and I press shift, what I want to do is, well, we're gonna have a look at that here. So we are going to create a new object. Create object, an orange, relative to the hang glider. There we go. Relative to the hang glider, I think. So let's try that in the step through editor. Last orange has been destroyed. There we go. Trouble is, I can now make more oranges appear, and I only want to be able to press shift when there are no oranges. So I guess if I go to the event editor, and then compare number of orange objects in a zone. So I want greater or equal to 1. And the player presses OK. So yeah, I want to, oh no, I don't want to ignore the player's control. What I want to do is say, and the player presses a key, then I don't want anything to happen. So hopefully that should fire. So, okay, that's not actually working. So, yeah. And upon pressing shift, let's try moving that down the way. Greater than or equal to 1. Oh! See, I don't know how to stop that, honestly. Yeah. So, what we want though is something for when the player hits the manages to break all the blocks. So, what we're gonna do is make the most unsatisfying completion screen. UN. Yay. It's not even center. That's just brilliant. So, what we're going to do is go back to the event editor, test the player's score, new condition, player score, player score equals 14. Then what we want to do is advance to the next frame, and then we want to make another screen, game over. So what we can do is I'll make that red. There we go. And yeah. Now I'm pretty certain there we go. And then of course on the title screen we want to be able to advance to the actual game. So I think the best way to do that is to have a question and answer. Do you wish to play? And then we can have I. No. Now, whether an answer is correct or not is immaterial in this case. Still not sure what a relief is, but there we go. Do you wish to play? I. No. So what we can do, we could use the step through editor. Correct answer. What we can do is go on to the next frame. Restart this level. No. Then what we can do is end the game. And why don't we use the timer in the use stink screen? So what we're going to do, step through editor. And then end the game. Go to level editor. No, let's go to this. No. Well, let's go to the event editor. So make it so that. Oh! Sugar. I forgot about that. Timer. Is the timer equal to a certain value? 30 seconds. End the game. So start of the level. Let's play a sound. People. So we have crowd booing. There we go. So that's nice and humiliating. So let's. I can't remember what else we needed to do, but let's try this game now. Oh, sugar! We need to actually set the condition for someone's life equaling zero. Someone's number of lives equaling 0. UN. Yay. So go to the event editor. So players lives reaches 0. Jump to the frame, you stink, and there we go. So let's try this. So no, we don't want to play the game. Yes, we do want to play the game. Now you get to look at that screen. Yep, and that'll go on for 30 seconds, and then it'll and then hopefully it should spit you unceremoniously back to the desktop, our program manager, whatever you use in these days. Anyway, so now we've about completed the game. What we can do is go to game setup, and here we can give it a title. We can select the control of each player. So lives, initial 3, minimum 0, maximum 9. Score, initial 0, maximum 0. Initial 0, minimum 0, maximum 9. Now what we can do is create some game instructions, either as a text or a .rai file for Windows, right? So let's do that. Excellent. Multi-samples, yeah, why not? And then we can even make a program manager icon. I'll have some nice stink lines. And if I really wanted, I could make some whoops, dithering, make some nice dithering lines. I mean, I know that's not how dithering lines work, but I really can't be bothered doing the checkered pattern. So this is, I mean, what it would look like if I did it properly. It would quite literally be a pile of shit. So let's have it look like the sort of shit that you might take and then go speak to your doctor because you have several hundred concerns. So now the game is created, I guess you'd want to pass it on to your friend, and Click and Play allows you a way to do that. You can save this as a standalone game. Say save with installer. So let's call this shit.exe. So what this is doing now is it's actually compiling the game. Your standalone game was successfully saved. The following files have been saved: setup.exe, setup.dat, shit.dat. You can now copy this game on a floppy disk and distribute it to anyone. Oh, isn't that nice? Right. So, let's go and install this game then, shall we? Oops. Alright. Install this game is actually quite shit. So, as you can see, we have a nice installer. You've successfully installed this game is actually quite shit. Double click on the program to start icon to start this program. So there we go. We have this game is actually quite shit. Do you wish to play? Yes, yes I do. Oh, that's depressing. So, there you go. And then when you quit the game, you get a nice wee notice saying this program was created using Klik and Play. This program should only be distributed as freeware. It cannot be in any way sold as shareware or a full commercial product. Selling this program other than normal freeware duplication cost is a violation of the Klik and Play user license. Learn more about Klik and Play. So, there you go. You've got a wee advertisement for Klik and Play. So, Klik and Play was quite a neat wee thing that to help people to learn how to create games. I mean, obviously, you know, being as it is a drag and drop type program, a lot of the games you create, if you create a lot of games using Klik and Play, will start to become a wee bit samey. And of course, there was newer versions of Klik and Play and other game creation utilities that used a very similar not having to code aspect like Klik and Play. So, for example, things like Dark Basic. Well, not Dark Basic itself, but the 3D Game Maker, which allowed you to create, 3D games, either racers or shoot 'em ups, run and gun games, first-person shooters rather. No, I think it was third-person shooters that it would allow you to create. But that game, but the 3D Game Maker, I thought was quite a lot more samey than, say, Klik and Play. Though that was also used, well, the 3D Game Maker was used in computer camps, at least in the United States. Now, as far as Klik and Play is concerned, you could get it as an educational package. They would sell you that. They would, and I believe nowadays it's you can even download the original version for free. As far as I know, I think they've made it into freeware. But apart from that, that's Klik and Play. Nowadays, we've gone more back to the encouraging kids to learn how to code philosophy, because we have things like the Raspberry Pi, the Arduino hobbyist machines, and other machines that are very similar to the Raspberry Pi. And I think those are quite often used in schools as well. So, creating computer applications is something that kids are encouraged to do, and I think Klik and Play, at least in the 90s, was a good way to put a fun spin on introduction to application creation. Because even though you're using drag and drop and not necessarily a single line of code, you do still get to appreciate a lot of the fundamentals of programming something. The step-through editor, for example, I think does a really good job of just showing you what has to be taken into account. It will play through the game and go, okay, well, so we're going to just play the game. Hang on a minute, this has happened. What do we do about it? This has happened. What do we do about that? This has happened. What do we do about that? And that really does show, it just kind of helps kids, helps anyone to appreciate what, what goes into making a game. And, I mean, that game, it was terrible, but it did take me quite a while to come up, to actually create it fully. So it shows that even if you're using drag and drop to make a game, it can still take quite a while, because there's a lot to think about that you wouldn't necessarily think about otherwise. But with that said, I think it's time to put this video to a close, and I'd like to thank you all for watching Academic August. Please let me know what you thought of it, and I hope to be doing this next August, but normal videos will resume as of next week. And I hope you will all join me. Thanks a lot for watching, and please join me for my next video. Cheery bye.